Hi class, welcome to class 4 of Computer Assisted Legal Research. Want to start this week with an overview of our learning module, and then we are going to, in this lecture, talk about Bluebook citation. So for this class, it seems like a lot. You're going to be looking at this PowerPoint and this lecture video, and then just a traditional class lecture. And then for your homework, you will have 2 classwork assignments. One is Bluebook practice classwork, and one is the Westlaw practice classwork, and then you have your assignment. So that's in the overview. So that is what you are going to be doing this week. So yeah, 8 whole things. Okay, so let's talk about Bluebook. Now, hopefully for you guys, when I talk about case law, Bluebook citation, it will be a review because I have gone over this in fundamentals. If you are currently taking both fundamentals and CALR, hopefully this is just reinforcing what you've learned and not too boring. Okay, so why do we do this? As attorneys and legal professionals, we have to cite to legal authority in our documents to the court and to inter-office and to other attorneys. And when we are citing to legal authority, we have to make sure that our reader has enough information to access that legal authority that we have cited. So we need a uniform system to do that citation. So if you think about the difference between the United States and Europe for how we put together date abbreviations. So if I do 1/8/2020 in the United States, that would be January 8th, but in Europe, they would think that to be August 1st. So you can see that having a uniform system to cite for citation makes it a lot easier so that there's no confusion as to what the volume is, what the page is, what every piece of information is being shown. So make sure, even if you see a cite in a book, in an article, in Lexis or Westlaw, that's not enough. They might be using a different citation form. They might not have Bluebook properly. You always have to ensure that what you are giving is the proper Bluebook citation. I add this quote from a former professor at Cornell Law School, which kind of says, oh, you think that Bluebooking is crazy, it's a silly distraction, you're annoying, you're persnickety, whatever. But just like anything else, if you are Bluebooking improperly, the people who know how to Bluebook, when they read your work, it makes you look incompetent and it makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. So they are less likely to take any other material in what you've written or provided with gravity. So do it well, and then the other legitimate parts of your writing will also be taken seriously. And it isn't hard. It's just learning something new. And then once you've got it, you've got it. And it won't be as cumbersome as you continue to use it. Okay, the Bluebook itself is structured in a few ways. First, you have your blue pages, the ones that are actually blue. And that's what I've given you to read before coming to this lecture. And it has all the rules for your basic citation needs. Now, I don't always refer to the rules. I usually kind of go to the index and the back cover for our quick reference. And the way I do it is I look at a model and I model it after it. The table section, which has the one blue stripe, has proper abbreviations, and it has all of the citation state by state. T6 is the abbreviations for, like association or township or something like that. It'll give you a proper abbreviation. So that's in table 6. So usually if I want something for Arizona, I will go to the index, look under Arizona, and find the pages of where the proper citation forms for Arizona materials appear. If you notice on the back cover, there is a quick reference guide for court documents and legal memos. That's what you will be using for legal professionals. Kind of ignore the front cover materials. You can put a little sticky with big X's on it. That's for people who write law reviews. We're not writing law reviews in this class. Or even when you are working in a law firm, you're not doing that. So the citation form might be a little bit different. So you're looking at the back cover for your quick reference guide. So you're trying here to give the reader the information that helps them find the source that you are citing. Okay, if there are local rules of your jurisdiction that conflict with the rules of the Blue Book, the local rules of your jurisdiction override them. That's Rule 1, B1. So, for example, in Illinois statutes, it says in the Blue Book that our abbreviation for state statutes is Illinois ILL COMPSTAT, ILCOMSTAT, but our Illinois Supreme Court rules say that we should cite our statutes as ILCS. So cite them as ILCS. In this class, because I say Blue Book form, I'm not going to write it, I'm not going to take points off if you use ILCOMSTAT, but I might write a comment, hey, remember in real life, use ILCS. Also, this isn't really a conflict, but in cases after July of 2011, Illinois has their own public domain format, which is different than traditional Blue Book format, although it does appear in the Blue Book. And this is just a link to current Illinois Supreme Court opinions, which will show you what they look like. Okay, so if I go here to People versus Hill, pulls up a PDF. Okay, so here, rather than what we are using, which we'll be talking about, this is what our format looks like. Okay, so the name of this case is what? People versus McLaurin. So that would be People underline v McLaurin, McLaurin, comma, and then it would say 2020 IL 124563. 2020 is obviously the year. IL tells me the court. Capital IL means Illinois Supreme Court. And this is kind of a virtual page number, so that just for reference of page number. If you're doing pinpoint citation, like a specific quotation, you use the paragraph number that it appears in that virtual citation. So that's what Supreme Court opinions look like. Let me go to appellate court opinions because they'll look a little different. You don't have to make this up. When you look at a case, it will have that. It will have that citation on it for the virtual for the public domain website. Just means that Illinois now doesn't publish books. It does everything. All of their own cases are published electronically, as the official reporter is this electronic site. Okay, so this one is People versus Shelton, and here's what the citation looks like. Look, it's 2020, our year, and then what's our court? Illinois Appellate Court, 2nd District. See, Appellate Court, 2nd District. IL, APP, in paren 2D, that's my court, and then here is my virtual page number. So you will see this in the books, and on Lexis and Westlaw, you will have this public domain citation, and that is your official citation for Illinois cases after July of 2011. Okay, Typeface. I try to drum this in, but a lot of times when you guys are doing statutes, because this is what I really emphasize in this class, you see in the Blue Book these little mini all caps, which you'll see if you look at the front cover of your Blue Book. You see this little all caps font. And that's used for law reviews. We don't use that for legal documents. We use that for law reviews. So what we're going to be doing, case names are going to be underlined. And if you prefer, you can use italics instead of underlined if you think it looks prettier. But do not use this mini all caps font. Okay, our citations, you're just putting a citation alone, ends with a period. If you are writing a legal document, your citations appear within the text of the document, not as footnotes. So you can say negligence requires duty, breach of duty, and the breach of duty caused damage, right? Those three things. Right after it, you put your cite, that the law that is telling you that. And whatever that cite has to refer to, whatever that was in the preceding sentence. If you are doing string cites, more than one cite to support the same point of law, then you use semicolons to separate them. Okay, so a basic case. Case name underlined, reporter volume number, reporter name, the page a case begins on. And then if there is a quote, that then your whatever the pinpoint citation would be. In the parentheses is the court and the year of decision. But if you can see by the reporter name what the court is, then you only need the year of decision. So, case name, Holland v. Donnelly, 216, that's the volume of the reporter. So if I'm looking at the books on a shelf, I pull out book number 216 of the FSUP, which stands for the Federal Supplement Second. Okay, starts on page 227. I go to page 227. Here's my court, Southern District of New York, and here's my year, 2002. Case name. Your case name is the last name of the first plaintiff listed versus the last name of the first defendant listed. You don't have to do at all. You don't have to do multiple. You shouldn't do multiple parties, just one. Okay, underline the entire name up to, but not including the comma. Okay, and you don't have at all. If you're writing a legal document and you are referring to a case more than once, you only have to do a full cite the first time, and then you can use the name of the case later. Okay, our case cite is going to give the volume of the reporter. So the reporter are the volume of books that you're looking at. Different cases are reported in different reporters, and our pinpoint citation gives the specific page. Okay, so here we have Baker versus Carr. That's our case name. See how I don't underline over the comma. 369 U.S. 369 is the volume. U.S. is the reporter, the name of the book. So that's the United States Reporter, which is the official reporter for U.S. Supreme Court cases. Starts at page 186, and here's where my quote begins at page 195, and it was written in 1997. I don't need court information in my parenthetical because from here I can tell it is the U.S. Supreme Court, and there is only one U.S. Supreme Court, only one jurisdiction, only one court. Now this one is different. Shaw versus Leonard, 785 F2D 1209. Okay, Federal Reporter Second Edition. So that has all federal appellate courts, which have different circuits. So in my parenthetical here, I need to specify my court. Which federal appellate court is it? It's the Seventh Circuit, and then the year. So that's the tricky part about cases, is what the parenthetical contains. Okay, when the jurisdiction is clear from the reporter name, you don't have to include the court in the parenthetical. But usually, unless it's the Illinois Supreme Court or the United States Supreme Court, you have to include the court name. Table T10 in the table section of the Bluebook has your state abbreviations. If you're using a regional reporter like the Northeast Reporter, the Southern Reporter, the Northwest Reporter, you always need to include the court in parentheticals, because from that you can't tell at all what jurisdiction it is. when you're citing to more than one reporter. So giving parallel citations is totally nice. You're telling the reader different options to access it. But the first one in the list is going to be your official reporter, then your regional reporter, and you separate them by commas. To figure out which reporter is the official reporter, I have the cheat sheets attached to this module, and then you can look at the cheat sheets for each of the jurisdictions we're dealing with. Okay, unreported decisions. Unreported decisions are hard. Unreported decisions are decisions that are usually in an online database like Lexis or Westlaw, but the panel of courts have decided I'm not going to include this in our published decisions. A lot of times they are orders from a trial court in a federal court. And they have no, if it's an unreported decision, there's no precedential value. So you don't usually need them. You don't usually like to cite to them unless you've got nothing else. Okay, so you have the case name, CALR case name, Alvy Strowl here, the docket number. Here's my docket number, comma, then the database identifier. So, the Lexis site or the Westlaw site, whatever you're looking at. Okay, if you have pinpoint citations, it's there. And then you have your court, Northern District of Illinois here, and the full date. The reason why you need the full date here is because a lot of times these are orders from a trial court, and a trial court in one case might issue more than one order in a year. So that's why you have to specify the full date, month, day, and year of this opinion. Okay, it's complicated. You're not going to be able to just remember it. Always refer to the Bluebook. If you go to those last back covers, there is something for unreported and pending decisions. Use that. And you only use this format if there is no reporter at all, not even an official reporter, if there's no book that cites to it. Okay, and again, they don't have precedential value, so only use unreported decisions when you have to. Okay, so statutes is what I really like to concentrate on in this class. And you will have a Bluebook project towards the middle of this semester where you have to do the Bluebook format for statutes in all of our jurisdictions. Rule 12 of the Bluebook tells you how to govern statutes. And Table 1, remember T1, which is the one with the blue stripe is where the tables are. That has the list of all the statutory codes and abbreviations. So it's really like what you do is you go to your state, Indiana, go to the index, go to Indiana, and then you go to the page in T1 that talks about how Indiana statutes are cited, and you use that as a model. It's kind of all you got to do. So for federal statutes, we have our U.S. Code. There's 3 different publishers for the U.S. Code. Okay, USC is the one published by the Government Publishing Office. You have the U.S. Code Annotated, which is published by West Publishing, and the U.S. Code Service, which is published by Lexis. So you just have when you're citing to a federal statute, you have your title number, 41, USC, which is the abbreviation for the U.S. Code in Table 1. Then we have the section symbol. Okay, if you are on Word or I think any word processing, it's insert symbol, and then you look for the section symbol, and then you put in the section number. If you can't figure out how to insert the section symbol, just do a lowercase s. Okay, then we have our year of the code, and this is super important, and a lot of people forget this. The year of the code is the copyright year. So it's the year that you're looking at. If you're looking at a book, it's the year of the book you're looking at. If you're looking at Lexis, it's the current year. It's the year that the version of the code that you are looking at, not the year the statute was amended or changed or enacted or repealed. It's the year that your code that you're looking at. So if I am looking at this 17 U.S. Code, I know that's the Government Publishing Office version of the code, section 107, and I'm looking at it as it existed in 2012, and that was what I was citing to. So let me because here, look, this is the US code. In my parentheses, I don't have a publisher name because the publisher, there is no priority publisher. It's just the United States federal government. But if I'm doing the US code annotated, I have to tell my reader, oh, this was published by West. US Code Service is published by Lexis. And again, if you go to the Bluebook, it will tell you what to include in the parenthetical, but that's just your default there. State statutes may have official and unofficial code, and the Bluebook you can do the official code if you have it. If you're looking at it in Lexis, you cite to the Lexis version. If you're looking at it on Westlaw, you cite to the Westlaw version of it. Format might vary from the way it works in a federal statute. Like the numbering is maybe different. You might put the title before, you might put the title afterwards. Look at Table 1 to find the citation format for the state that you're looking at. It's really not hard. You just have to go to the Bluebook. You can't make it up. And the statute abbreviations on Lexis and Westlaw are different. And usually they're different from what is proper Bluebook. So make sure you don't just rely on the state statute abbreviations on Lexis and Westlaw. Look to what is in the Bluebook. Okay, so for Illinois, this is how it looks. We have our title. Title here would be 735 ILCS. And see how the numbering is goofy. In Illinois, we have the section symbol 5/2-615. And then I was looking at this in 2011. Okay, so one of the things you have to do as part of this module is do this Bluebook practice. And there's a fun little video for you to play while you're working on the Bluebook practice. So this is for cases. I'll post what the what my answers would be. If you have specific questions, shout out to me either in the discussion board section or in an email. So I'll give you what they look like, but that is what, actually I'll just give you, you're submitting this as part of your classwork. So I'll give you comments on your classwork. We can do it that way. But again, if you have questions, always shout out to me and I will do my best to help you. So I love teaching students how to Bluebook. It's one of my joys. I feel like Chip games on demo day. It's like my favorite day of the semester, teaching you guys how to do Bluebook. So let's succeed. And I'll talk to you later on in this module.